Pro7s are the cult of motorsport. They are on their own and it takes a certain breed to appreciate it. But in saying that, they do hold their own on the tarmac, and you can't deny the success that the vehicle has had over its very long career. The Pro7s or the RX7s, they're unique like the Porsches, where they've got their own specific way of going around a track and they've got their own engines and they're different from everybody else. So why choose an RX7 to race in?
Originally we went into the Series 1 just because it was a cheap way of getting into racing, and the beauty of it was everything was even, so it didn't really matter how big your budget was, you still had good close racing with the top guys. So we did that for a season, then jumped into the BAT, and pretty much the same thing. Everyone's in the same boat. No matter how much you spend, you don't really get that much further ahead, so it's good competitive racing.
So talk me through the classes then. There are two, right?
Yep, there are. So there's a Series 1, which is a 12A, everything's standard, and they're sort of 1979. And then you've got the Batmobiles, which is 94, and they're a 13B. So the speed difference is not too great, probably 5-6 seconds faster per lap. So they've got a lot more grip though, bigger brakes and so on, so a bit more fun to drive.
Is it a class you think people will easily jump into, say like the SS2000s, or are they a tricky thing to drive? What would you recommend for people who wanted to get into it? Is this a good thing?
Yeah, I'd say it would be. Trouble with the SS2000 is everyone's different, and you're sort of racing against your own lap time rather than other people, whereas the beauty of this class, you know, everyone pays the same thing and just comes down to the driver, which is quite cool. So yeah, I definitely recommend it.
What about the hassle between the piston and the rotary? Is there ever much of that banter sort of going around the tracks?
A little bit. I mean, you know, some people don't like rotaries, some people don't like pistons, but it's all good fun, it's all friendly.
So while the Batmobile is Maddie's cup of tea, the Series 1 still has a legion of fans, none stronger than Bob Smith. G'day Bob, tell us about your car. Series 1, you're up against the Batmobiles and the Pro7s. So let's start by telling us about your car. What is it with the Series 1s?
Well, the Series 1s are a separate class from the Bats. They're only a 1200cc 12A motor, whereas the Bats are fuel-injected 13Bs, so they've obviously got a bit more power. Well, these are the original cars in the class, and they've been running since for about 19 years now. And I've been driving these since for the whole time. I'm a life member of the club. They're a good class, they're easy to maintain and cheap to run.
So it's just simply get an RX7, throw a cage, race seats, all the standard safety gear in, and as long as you keep like the 12A, away you go.
Yeah, 12A carbureted, we're allowed MX5 gearboxes conversions because obviously some of the old RX7 stuff's getting a bit old now, 1980s, she's getting back a bit, but yeah, we've got adjustable platforms and suspension setups and controlled brakes, but without any brake pads. So there's a few little tricks you can do to them, but it's mainly just time in the seat and away you go, you know.
What convinced you to go to rotary? Because there is no other better banter in motorsport than between the rotary and the piston.
Yeah, I'll have it a go at each. I used to race stock cars for years and got sick of blowing up doing pistons, and for the price of doing the heads up on my V8 Tourer I had, you can build a whole motor for an RX7, so they just suited my budget, and I've always been intrigued by them, fascinated with them. I've built my own engines. And
they are kind of exotic, so does that mean the racing out there is exotic, or is it bash and crash like most classes out there at times?
No, it's actually a pretty competitive class. It's not so much this year, we've down on numbers unfortunately, but when you get 28, 30 cars on the grid, then there is quite a bit of mirror knocking and push and shove, but yeah, no, it's competitive. They're very quick. We're doing 1:13s around here, which is quite a respectable time for a little car with a non-limited slip diff one. Yeah, so, yeah.
I suppose it's one of the few classes in the country where there are not so many mixed vehicles, isn't it? You've got two particular types, in that class, and that's it.
That's dead right, you know. It's just the Series 1s are the only cars without in our class, so you know, anything else is out, so it's it makes it very competitive, you know, it's good.
So apart from, I mean, you've got to have standard 12A, carburation, that's it? You're not allowed to do anything else?
No, you're not allowed electronic ignition or anything like that. It's all points, and they've kept the rules tight over the years and tried to control the money running away with it, you know, to keep it in everybody's budget.
The Pro7 boys had a fun weekend as they got to open their throttles on the high-speed Pukekohe circuit. For the Batmobiles, it was without question Matty Lockwood who grabbed the round win. Hopefully, he can continue the same sort of form into his current first season of the New Zealand V8 touring cars. And for the Series 1 Classic RX-7s, it was Phil Blythe with 2 firsts and a second, who claimed the standard rotary spoils. Don't forget to check the IRC website so you can see when the circus is next in your area. Taupo is getting the show on the 2nd and 3rd of January. Full details on irc.org.nz. Now, the New Zealand motorsport scene requires more volunteers to help with marshalling and control at its events. Every track in the country needs more help to keep the action rolling on. And with the opening of Hampton Downs, the demand on volunteers is higher than ever before. So, if you've been sitting there watching and never really thought about it, now is the time. You don't get any closer to the action than when you are a race marshal or official. To find out more, simply make contact with the New Zealand Grand Prix office on Auckland 09 579 3108 or email admin@nzgrandprix.org.nz and let them know of your interest to help, and they'll pass your details on to your local track organisers. Of course, you can just make contact with your local track as well. Let's keep those wheels turning. And that is it from us at Speed Machine. Thanks for joining us over the last 6 years as we happily brought you grassroots motorsport right into your home. My name is Craig Lord and it's been a pleasure. We'll talk again soon.